the center and usually leads to a more positional development of the pieces. The Indian game begins by controlling the important e4 square with the knight, rather than c4 builds a strong center by controlling the important d5 square, and creates the king's Indian defense prepares to develop the bishop to g7, allowing white to build up a strong center, which knight c3 prepares the e2, e4 pawn push and helps control the d5 square. The Grenfell defense uses this pawn push to gain space in the center and attack the c4 pawn. Knight f3 supports the d4 pawn and puts pressure on the e5 square. Bishop g7 puts the bishop on the long diagonal in a move called a fianchetto. C takes d5 captures the d5 pawn and opens up the c4 square. Knight takes d5 recaptures the d5 pawn, centralizes the knight and allows the dark squared bishop to attack the d4 pawn. This kicks a knight. This forces the opponent to isolate a pawn. A clear recapture. c5 takes space in the center and attacks the d4 pawn. If white captures the c5 pawn, then black can reply with bishop takes c3 plus, winning the exchange. Bishop b5 gives a check, develops the bishop and prepares to castle. This blocks the check from an opposing bishop. Castling gets the king out of the center of the board, while also developing a rook. Castling to the same side of the board is a more cautious approach. The pawn is now adequately defended. This threatens to tactically win a pawn. The knight is kicked by a pawn and must now move or be captured. This move puts the knight on a safer square. This is the only move that works. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. After all captures, this is an equal trade. This is an equal trade. Now black can't stop white from winning a pawn if they make the right moves. This makes a passed pawn. This is the way to win a pawn. This avoids clear danger. This wins a pawn. This stops the opponent from being able to tactically win a pawn. This avoids clear danger. The rooks can see each other now, allowing them to provide mutual defense. This threatens to capture a bishop and win material after the follow-up trades. This moves the bishop to safety. This creates luft for the king, providing it an escape square. This permits the opponent to take an open file with a rook. A straightforward recapture. Very precise. The rook is on a strong square where it has activity. One of the best moves. A clear recapture. There was only one good move there, and black did not spend enough time trying to find it. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. A straightforward recapture. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. This allows the opponent to win a pawn by overloading a defender. This causes black to be overloaded, having to defend too many pieces at once. Right on target. This is the strongest option. This puts the rook behind the other player's passed pawn. An active king is critical in the endgame, and black was worse off, but now they are in a losing position. A solid choice. A very strong play. This is a fair move. This overlooks an opportunity to move a rook to safety. There were worse moves, but also something much better. This is not the right idea. This move puts the pawn on a safer square. That pawn was free for the taking. One of the best moves. This creates a pawn chain, linked pawns that form a strong structure. After all captures, this is an equal trade. A clear recapture. Pushing a passed pawn. Placing a rook behind an opposing passed pawn can inhibit the pawn's ability to promote. This is the only move that works. This defends the attack pawn. A solid choice. That was a free pawn. A very strong play. This steps away from the checking rook. One of the best moves. This evades the check from the rook. Very precise. This evades the check from the rook. A solid choice. A very strong play. One of the best moves. The passed pawn moves towards its goal. That pawn was free for the taking. Right on target. This steps away from the checking rook. Placing a rook behind a passed pawn helps keep the pawn protected as it tries to promote.